Hi everybody, so it's me, G1 Writer, and I'm presenting to you I Love My Spouse But Segment 3. Segment 3 is an extension, or let's just say is paying a tribute or honor to one of the most magnificent women who has ever once walked this earth, right? Maya Angelou. She says something very, unique. And not only was it unique, but it was also brilliant. And it made a whole lot of sense. And it's actually one of my favorite phrases. And I'm sure that this one phrase has touched so many people because it just made so much sense. Right? And with this particular phrase, a lot of us really took it to the head. Like, yeah, like, okay, this is what you're about, then yeah, I'm gonna have to let you go. So, Maya Angelou said it best. When people show you who they are, believe them. Let me say that again. When people show you who they are, believe them. Okay? Because there's a lot of us, and I'm just as guilty. I've been there and done that. Oh, well, I can change them. Let me, I'm sure once they get a taste of me, I already know they won't do this, they won't do that. Honey, listen, if all it takes is a hot meal and, a few laughters to keep a man at home, shit, we all be married and happy, okay? When people show you who they are, believe them, okay? So, I'm titling this video, Pay Attention to Red Flags, Warning Signs. You have two different types of people in the world. One who likes to see the good in people. Hey, I'm going to give the person the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to trust them until I see something wrong or, no good ho. It's like, listen, I'm going to trust you, And then you have others who are consistently being targeted as being insecure or insignificant, or being viewed as such, right? Just because their radar is through the roof. Their intuition is through the roof. Their spirituality is through the roof. And I'm telling you, I have been on both sides of the field. The naive, trusting, loving one, wanting to believe any and everything a person tells me and would just run with it, right? I was that person. And then I also have been the person that was insecure, felt insignificant, felt like I didn't have much to offer because of this person's flaws or because they were not mature enough to handle all of this, right? But then some of those issues played a huge factor in relationships that I have been in, okay? And so this is not just my personal opinion, but this is also facts, logical sense, okay? So, like I said, you got the naive one that want to just trust everybody, want to see the good in everybody. And there's nothing wrong with that. But then you have to be realistic. Like when you see things that's like right in your face, and that this is not right. Yeah, something about this is not right. And you just go with it anyway because something deep down inside of you is telling you, hey, you have the power to change that person. No, we all have free will. And a person is going to want to change if they want to change. And if you want to be real, they should get their shit together before they even come to you. Right? You guys heard me speak about that. So pay attention to red flags. There may be a habit that annoys you right now, right? Or just about people in general. And maybe you meet this person and they're everything that you want. They literally are glistening with glitter, okay? Like literally, like they just make your life so vibrant and they make you feel so safe, make you feel so content that you really don't even recognize that they are doing the one thing that you cannot stand. Listen, I'm just as guilty. I get it. I've been there and done that, okay? But there's a habit that could be annoying you right now. Maybe the person refused to, work on their addictions, okay? Maybe they are insecure. Maybe they have jealous issues or possessive issues. They could have a moment of temporarily, going insane. It was another word I was going for, but I couldn't get it out just yet, so bear with me. So, anyway, they can have even a really bad temper, put their hands on you, and you make excuses for it. You try to justify their actions. You try to say, oh, they didn't mean it. You know, I was the one pissing them off, right? They didn't mean to call me a bitch, or they didn't mean to call me a lowlife. They didn't mean to tell me that I would never amount to nothing. They were just upset. They never meant to burn my house down with smoking and drinking. They never meant to, raise their voice. They never meant to do this. They never meant to just not pay the bill. They've been going through a lot. Their mind hasn't been on it. They never meant to take the $20 out of my bag. They were just, I knew they was going to give it back to me. These are all signs and things that we tend to ignore. And if I'm being frank, I believe that women do it the most. All the things that we ignore, I think Ashanti said it best. Y'all know I love Ashanti, but I think she said it best. All the things that we ignore is the one thing that will come back to haunt us and hurt us the most, because we see these things and we don't, because we want love and we want to be accepted and we want to be appreciated by someone who really respects and honor us and love us. So we ignore it. We ignore the warning signs. We ignore the red flags. When people show you who they are, believe it. If, for instance, okay, I just believe it's just so important to remember to do work on yourself before you even get involved, okay, first of all. So once you do, and once you know, hey, I've done the work on myself, now you can honestly sit back with a clear mind and you will be able to notice signs. But I'll tell you now, even the most strong individual out there can still sometimes ignore warning signs and ignore those red flags. So I jotted some things down here, and I know I was about to make a point, but I'm going to hold off for a second, okay? So a red flag means that something could be off, right? For a lot of you who don't know. So it means that something is off. Something is possibly wrong. You may witness a lot of flirtatious nature in this person. Maybe they're always flirting with your friends, or maybe they're always flirting with people in public, and they'll say, oh, I'm sorry, babe, I didn't even know I was flirting, right? That's what they do, okay? Substance abuse. Your person may even treat you amazing in the beginning. I mean, really amazing. Roses, wine and dining you. They're humble. They're a sweetheart. You guys can laugh. You're like best friends. Okay? And this is all in the beginning. But then avoidance happened. So it's important to monitor how they treat others. That is the most important way to notice a red flag warning, okay? Or a red flag or a warning sign, okay? How do they treat others? People told me back in the day, I can't remember exactly who, and actually I heard it all my life, but I remember the first time I heard this was, if you want to know how a man will treat you, pay attention to how he treats his mom or any female relative in his family. Pay attention to how he treats other women in the community. For instance, if you see him carrying bags for older women, you know that he has compassion, right? He's very sensitive. He doesn't want, this woman, of age carrying heavy bags. He actually cares, right? Versus a man that will see a 90-year-old woman carrying heavy bags and would just be like, shit, that ain't my problem, right? If he does one of those, like, oh, okay, well, shit, she better call somebody. Honey, that's not just him being cute and being a thug from the hood, okay? Or him just having a rough life. That's just him being a straight asshole and being very insensitive, okay? And highly disrespectful, okay? Because if he cannot respect that situation or have compassion, I don't even want to know how he talks to his mom. I don't even want to know how he treats his siblings or how he treats his nieces or how he treats other women in the community. I don't even want to know. Okay? But I'll tell you this, I'll pay more attention to the one that is helping a 90-year-old carry her bags because it shows me his heart. You understand? So it's little things like that that we have to pay attention to. It can be something as simple as you feeling sick one day and you really don't have the strength to get up out the bed, you know. And this, guys, this message could really apply for women or men. It really doesn't matter. Take it to how it applies, okay? But you could be laying in the bed sick, you know, laying down, not really feeling good, you know. And not one time does this person come to you and say, hey, you know, are you okay? You know, would you like me to make you anything, like some tea, some soup? Would you like me to put a pillow under your back for you? Would you like me to rub your feet? Would you like a massage? If they are not even willing to be of service to you, and they don't even care to care, and you're laying there sick, and they won't even budge, that is someone who is very selfless. Like, seriously. Very selfish. Very into themselves. And this is no shade, fellas, but I need to say this. A lot of men can be very self-absorbed. And when you're dealing with a woman who is always working, you know, got kids at home, or maybe she doesn't have kids at home. Maybe she's just exhausted by life. I mean, hello. I mean, women just be doing it these days. You know, we are the wife, the mom, the chef. You know, we're the boss. We're the CEOs. You know, we have a lot of chips on our shoulder. So we have that one day where we're like, I'm really out of it. I'm not feeling like myself. I'm not feeling too well today. Don't judge. Don't say, oh, get your lazy ass up. When the fuck are you not sick? You know, or, like, don't be rude about it. But ladies, if that happens to you, I'm telling you now, that is a warning sign. If you have a lot of money in your bank account, ladies, and fellas, I could say, because fellas go through this too, right? If you guys have, like, a lot of money in your account, and someone just takes your money without even asking, they have no consideration. Not only that, they just prove that they can't be trusted. Because if I have money in my account and you took money out of my account and I trusted you with my personal information and you violate that, not only are you showing me how inconsiderate you can be, but you are also showing me that you cannot be trusted. If I share and open up my personal feelings to you about things in my past and you throw it in my face, not only are you showing me that you have no consideration or no compassion, but it also shows me how insensitive you can be. And it also shows me how childish you can be. And it also shows me that you cannot be trusted. Pay attention to the warning signs. Fellas, listen, if you meet a woman and she has absolutely nothing going on for herself, and ladies, I guess this can apply to you too, but if this person ain't got nothing going for themselves, and all they think about is just getting cute, and every time you turn around is gimme, 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 what you think is going to happen in 2 years? That's all you're going to be dealing with is gimme, gimme, gimme. It's about me. I don't want to do nothing. I'm not trying to contribute or to help you elevate. I'm just here to just take. And when you are in a position where somebody just constantly keep trying to take from you, You can't grow. I don't care if that's a friend, a lover, a sibling. If every time you turn around, this person just gimme, yeah, pay attention to the red flags. Because at some point, if you don't even recognize your own worth, first of all, if you don't even recognize your own worth, how the hell are you going to recognize mine? Okay, let me say that again. If you don't recognize your own worth, how are you going to recognize my worth? So most people would say, well, like I said, oh, I can fix them. I know if I get with them, I know I can motivate them and, help build their empire. Because like I said, ladies, I see women do this a lot. And as irritating as it is, I am 100% guilty because I have been there and done that. And it sucks. Being the caretaker, the provider, the save your day. That save your day energy. Let me run in and be the horse on the... no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, okay? You should know your worth before you even get into a relationship. So if you don't know your worth, don't expect to get into a relationship and for somebody else to immediately make you see your worth. You should know your worth. But just, because like I said, I'm not saying that a relationship can't be successful if this person don't know their worth. So let me be clear. That's my disclaimer. I'm not saying that. But I am saying is that should not be the main factor in your relationship, is consistently always finding yourself trying to pour your energy into somebody else consistently all the time. It is very depressing and very draining. Trying to be the saver of the day, trying to be the one who just ride in on a horse and save a person, and the one who's being the provider, the one who says, oh, it's all right, I got it. Do you know how stressed out a person must be to have to take care of their own personal problems and to consistently try to help you figure your shit out? Nobody got time for that. It's one thing to be down and to get back up again. And then it's one thing to be down and then to stay down and then expect somebody else to keep picking you back up. That is no. You don't deserve to be that individual. And my friend, you don't deserve to be the one that have to keep pouring all of that energy into someone who do not know their worth. Pay attention to the red flags, the insecurity, the jealousy, okay? Certain things you can work on, okay? Like if you tell this person, hey, babe, you don't really have to be insecure with me. I know that I made you uncomfortable. And you actually really begin to see some changes and, they're really working on their insecurity. They're really working on their jealousy. Don't be immature and pick fights and try to make them feel insecure or try to make them feel insignificant. That's not right. And when you have a person like that, that's playing on your feelings and on your emotions, that is what we call a narcissist, right? The person that like to make you, that like to patronize you all the time, or to try to make you feel like what you're doing is not good enough, or you're not the best that they ever had. Like, it is what it is, honey. I want to be the best, and if I'm not the best, you don't need to be with me. Because I want that. I want to feel really good in my relationship. Like, I want to feel so secure. You could go all the way to China and back, and I won't have not one question for you, but baby, how are you? That's all I want to know. I don't want to have to feel like I got to wake up and, feel like, hey, oh, they're not calling me because they're on the phone with someone else, or maybe we haven't made love because this is what they're doing. Listen, it all goes back to communication when you think about it. But like I said, those red flags, guys, are so important. If a person ignores you in the beginning, they are going to ignore you years later. Unless they genuinely really want to change and say, you know what I've been doing was wrong and I really need to get myself together, and you actually see progress, then go for it. Go for it by all means. But if it's been 2 or 3 years and you still don't see any progress, no growth, still no money in the bank account, still not spiritually grounded, they still don't have their shit together on every level, mentally, physically, sexually, emotionally, financially, and they are still stuck where they were 3 years ago, and they show you no signs of progress, why are you still sticking around? Why are you still giving them chance after chance after chance if you do not see any progress? I'll tell you why, because you're human. And because we are so human, we have, we get so caught up in, oh, I just want to forgive them. I want to give it a shot. I want to give it a chance. I want to try to make it work. I want to be forgiving. I want to be understanding. You can do all those things when the time is right. You can still love a person and love them from a distance. Okay? For instance, if this person got many people calling their phone, like potential lovers is what I like to call them, and they're having conversations. Matter of fact, I can give you guys an example, right? Something that I actually ignored in my own union years ago, right? Like, my boo was on the phone. He was like, I don't know what they was talking about. And in my face, listen, like 8 years ago, I was not who I am right now. So all that giggling on the phone, listen, honey, it went just like this. I know, right? I know. And my whole face was like, listen, okay? I went crazy for about 5 minutes. 5 long minutes. And I'm going to tell you right now, I think that changed the dynamic of everything. Because, listen, I'm not the one. You want to play games? There's the door. Okay? And then years later, my husband still thought that he could try me. Right? And I had to shut it down again. But guess what? That was my mistake because I didn't pay attention to the warning signs. So at this point, I had to learn, okay, do you really know your worth? I had to ask myself, do you really know your worth? Right? So, as disrespectful as it was, he understood that I'm not the one, like, to be playing games with. I'm really not the one. Don't play with me. So no matter what we've been through personally, like just between us, right? I never had to deal with that situation again because I let it be known. Like the first time, we was like, still kind of fresh. So that's why I didn't really bug out too much because I was like, whatever. We still fresh, it's still young, like cool, whatever, right? I didn't care too much. I mean, I did, but I didn't let it faze me or our union at the time because we weren't even married at that time. So it didn't bother me too much. But I feel like, hey, once we get married, all that changes, right? Like our union becomes something special now. So I had to make some changes within myself because something deep down inside of me is keep allowing this to happen. So I had to do a lot of internal work. Okay? And then we had to do some work together as well. And then, of course, he had to do some work. So we had a lot of overall work that we had to do. So when I say pay attention to the red flags, like I'm sure he could say the same thing about me. Okay? When my wife said she wasn't playing, I should have really took her seriously. Or when my first moment of feeling insignificant or feeling hurt or insecure, that could have been his sign to say, oh, she still got some work to do. But I think the most creative part about all of this is that we decided not to give up on each other at that time. And I think that that's what made it stronger. And we realized what we both were going wrong at and what we both needed, what our weak points were and what we both needed to get better at. But what would have happened if the very first time we would have paid attention to these red flags? What would have happened? If we would have dealt with these red flags early on, right? Or perhaps if we noticed the red flags and just stepped away, what would have happened? What would our life have been like? It would be completely different. Okay? So that's why I'm giving these messages for you guys, because I feel like some things can be prevented. Some things can be prevented. And like I said, a lot of times we go in with a blind eye. We're naive. We don't want to believe the worst about someone we care about, right? And I think that that's what really sets a lot of relationships off on the wrong foot, because we don't deal with things right away. We let it build up and build up and build up. And that is horrible. We have to talk it out. We have to say, listen, what you are doing right now is making me uncomfortable. I don't like this. So this is why I'm sharing this with you guys, okay? It is so important to pay attention to those red flags. The abuse, drinking, smoking, if it's really becoming a problem in your relationship, you could be single, and maybe that's why you're single. Maybe you have an addiction problem. Or maybe, let's just take it for face value. Maybe it's none of those things. What if it's a commitment issue? A lot of us can't stay stable in a relationship because we ourselves sabotage things. We sabotage relationships with friends, coworkers, lovers, our parents. We sabotage relationships. And then we'll go, oh, there's no good men out there. There's no good women out there. All these women want to do is just club and wear bundles and no. How do you know that you're not the problem? Like, can we be real? Like, can we just be honest? Like I said, you're looking at a true work in progress, guys. Trust me, okay? There was some very honest conversations I had to have with myself. Do you really know your worth? I had to ask myself that. Why are you tripping like this? What is wrong with you? I had to ask myself that. We have to be okay with asking ourselves the hard questions. How do you know that you're not the problem? How do you know that you are not the red flag? How do you know that you're not the one bringing your baggage and, your chaos into the relationship? How do you know? Have you had the hard conversation with yourself? Have you asked yourself, what is your problem? Or are you, putting up a facade and saying to yourself, oh, it's not me. They just don't appreciate nothing good. Listen, there's somebody out there for everybody. Okay? So, yeah, some people are assholes and they really don't genuinely appreciate when they have something good. But how do you know that you're something good? How do you know? How do you know that your issues is not the one thing that is blocking your blessing when it comes to love? How do you know that your drinking isn't a problem? How do you know that your insecurity is not the problem? How do you know that your jealousy is not the problem? How do you know that you bringing your baggage from other relationships into your union is not the problem? How do you know that your lack of commitment to anything is not the problem? A lot of you lack commitment in everything, in every area. Love, you lack commitment when it comes to yourself. You say, hey, I'm going to lose weight, and you don't work on losing weight. You say, hey, I'm going to get my degree by next year, and you don't go after it. Like, you don't commit to anything. How are you going to have a successful, strong foundation in your relationship if you are not willing to commit to something? You have to be willing to commit to something. You can't say, oh, they left socks on the floor, I'm good, I don't want to be with them. Oh, they ignored my call today, so I'm good. I don't want the relationship. Stop sabotaging. Stop walking away every time something gets rough. Deal with that shit. How do you know that you are not the red flag? Maybe that's why you haven't found true love just yet. So is it because people are mistreating you or people are no good for you? Okay? I can't wait to do segment 4, 5, and 6 and 7. I got so much to talk to you guys about. Listen, I didn't want to hold you guys too long today because Lord knows I can talk. Okay? But I wanted to leave you guys with this. When we pay attention to red flags and warning signs, guys, it's not just from the other person. Okay? Deception is also another sign of red flags. If you can't be honest with yourself, who can you be honest with? You have to be willing to commit to yourself first. Excuse me, I burped. You have to be willing to commit to yourself first. You have to be willing to be honest with yourself first. Why do you think we choose the partners that we choose? It's because of our own internal reflection. Like I said in my previous video, looking at your spouse should be like looking in the mirror. Okay? The type of spouse you choose shows a lot about your character. I remember, and I shared this in several of my videos on YouTube. I said this. I said, you know, before I got married anyway, I used to tell people, and my friends, of course, I used to go, I want a person who's a reflection of me. You know, like in other words, like if I live in the projects, I'm not going to go for a man with a Ferrari. Like it's not going to work. Like, why am I trying to play myself like that? Okay. If I'm still living with my parents, I can't say, yeah, I want a man that's, you know, got a big old mansion. Like, listen, date on your level. Okay. Child, that should be the next segment. Okay. Date on your level. And I think that's the most beautiful creative part, because when you date on your level, you guys can, and this is after you done the work now. I'm not talking about when you're all broke and fucked up and you're mentally, you know, incapable of dating, or you have all this baggage. I'm not talking about that, because then that's just one big ass mess of a toxic relationship. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you mentally and spiritually have yourself together, you need to begin to date on your level. Okay? That don't mean, hey, if I'm making, you know, 50 plus, you know, money, not money, sorry. If I'm making 50,000 plus a year, that I can't date somebody who's only making $20,000 a year. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that this person in the next 5 years should have a platform. They should have a goal. Where they're going. What are they trying to do? And if you are confident within yourself, you won't try to change this person. You would just allow them to naturally be and to show you their growth. So that way you guys can celebrate together. When times get hard, don't be so eager to just run away or to sabotage that relationship. Because like I said, that can cause you to be potentially the red flag. So, again, how do you know that you are not the red flag? Pay attention to warning signs on both sides. Okay, you're doing that. Let me check myself. Let me do a check-in real quick. Make sure it's not me tripping. Let me make sure it's not me, you know, just nagging or causing disruption. Let me make sure it's not me. Because a lot of times we just want to blame and point the finger. And a lot of times we are our own enemy. We are our own red flag. We are the reason why a lot of things happen. If we're being honest. But let's just, like I said, play it for face value. What if you're not? You got some work to do. Because if you're seeing the red flags, that this person is, deceiving, dishonest, disloyal, and you're choosing to put up with it over and over and over again, something's wrong with that picture. You got to do a check-in real quick. You got to say, hold on, let me go pray real quick. Something ain't right. You know, why do I keep tolerating this? Something is not right within my spirit. Something is off. Something is not in alignment with who I am. Because if I was in true alignment with who I am, I wouldn't keep dealing with this. I wouldn't keep allowing this to happen. You deserve better, guys. You deserve better. So when you see these red flags, I'm telling you, I did not deal with these red flags head on. I did not do it. And guess what? Me and my spouse went through a lot because of it. Him towards me, me towards him. It was no good. And even though I did some work on myself, I also realized that you are never done truly evolving. You are never done. So even though I made it through that journey and I have evolved and I have worked through some issues, guess what? Because I'm still growing and I'm getting older and wiser, I have to consistently evolve. And that means consistently changing and growing. And when I'm doing it the right way, I know that my household would also change. Because I'm going to be a reflection of that. Because like I said, your spouse should be a reflection of who you are. Okay, so I love you guys. Don't forget to pay attention to those red flags. And if you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to drop those comments below or them questions below. You guys can also check out my website, g1insights.org, for a personal session between you and I. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.